rectilinear motion. In the previous lecture we have understood and we have clarified that how we discuss the change in position of an particle, how we can track the change of position of the particle, but all of these things are measured with respect to the changing time. But if I associate the time with the change in position, then a new quantity results in, and dynamical quantity is called the velocity and displacement. How it is, we just try to check in. Let us consider a particle is starting its motion from here. If it's starting its motion from here and if it is moving in that particular direction, because we are concerning about the motion along a straight line, then we can consider this starting point as the reference point and denote this by O. At t equal to 0, the particle is at this position. If I want to add the reference frame with it, then we can say this is the x-axis. And at t equal to 5 seconds, the particle which is moving along the x-axis, it is at a distance 30 meter. So not only the position, but with the change in position, time is also associated with it. So if I want to just put the time and define a dynamical quantity that the time is associated with it, that are velocity, which is defined as displacement divided by time. Displacement is defined as change in position divided by time. So velocity basically tells us how the position is changes with the time in which direction. The velocity is basically tells us the change in the displacement, change in position, that is displacement divided by time. And we have calculated previously, basically if I denote it in terms of the change in position, if the particle moves along the straight line, then del r vector divided by t and r2 vector minus r1 vector divided by t. R2 vector is the final position that denotes the position vector of the final position, and R1 vector that denotes the position at when it is at initial point. So this basically represents the velocity. Since the particle is moving along this direction, so if I want to calculate the velocity here, the velocity is somehow like this, that the final position of it, if I want to denote, that will be 5 I cap, and the R1, the initial position is 0 I cap, and the time elapsed in moving from here to here is 5 seconds. Obviously if I take it in meter, then it will become, this one is 30 because the position is 30 meter, so it will be 30 divided by 5 I cap meter per second. So this basically denotes 6 meter per second I cap. If I am concerning about how the path length is changed with time, then at that time we have to define this another quantity that is called the speed. That is basically denoted as distance by time, and distance is nothing but it basically indicates the path length. So it will be path length divided by time. So from here we can understand the velocity is a vector quantity, so the speed is basically s by t, it is the scalar quantity. So if I want to distinguish the difference between these two, then we can say, we just take a scenario, a particle moves from particle at t equal to 0 second at this position, and it moves to t equal to 2 second in this position. The distance from here to here is 3 meter. After that, the particle, this is the direction of motion, it changes its path and follows this, and after that at t equal to 5 second it is at this position, and the distance from here is 4 meter. The path length is here the 4 meter, so it moves from A to B via the point C. So if I concerning over this, then the from here to here in the section AC, if I say what is the velocity, please try to understand this thing clearly. What is the velocity in the AC section? That will be 3 meter divided by 2 second along AC, A to C. If I want to find out the velocity in the next section, that is CB, then it will be 4 meter divided by 5 minus 2 second, because it is 2 second here. After that it just when the completion of 5 second it reaches the point B, so it will be 4 meter divided by 3 second along CB. But if I want to find what is the from the path that is from A to C to B, that is A to B via C, then it will denote A to B via C, then it does not denote the velocity, because here the direction is changed at the point C. So it will denote V at ACB, it will denote the speed. There is no vector sign over here, and that will be 3 meter plus 4 meter, and the total time elapsed is 0 to 2, then 2 to 5. The total time elapsed is 5 second, so it will be 7 divided by 5 meter per second, and there is no direction associated with it. But if I want to find out what is the velocity here from in going from A to B, then what we have to do, this is the initial point, this is the final point, we have to connect these two. If we connect these two, then you get AB. So the length of AB divided by the time, it gives the velocity, because it is from A to B, it is the straight line distance between initial point and the final point from A to B, and the length of the A to B, according to the Pythagoras theorem, it is root over of 3 square plus 4 square meter, and the total time in reaching from A to B is 5 second, so it will be 5 meter divided by 5 second along which directions, along from A to B, from the initial point to the final point. So I think you understood that if I go section wise from A to C, then C to B, then we can calculate the velocity. At that time VAC, whatever with the VAC, that will be the speed, that is the magnitude of VAC. If I calculate, that is 3 by 2 meter per second, that is 1.5 meter per second. It is also the speed, and 3 by 2 meter per second along AC, it basically denotes the velocity. If I consider this section separately, then for the CB section the velocity is 4 meter divided by 5 minus 2 second along which directions, along CB. If I calculate the magnitude of it, that is 4 by 3, that is 1.33 meter per second. This will also gives us the speed in the CV section. Here the VCV and the magnitude of VCV, the velocity, and here the speed is the of the same value, because here the path is not changed in moving from C to B. But if I calculate the reaching from A to B via C, at that time the direction is changed at the point C by 90°. So it will be 3 meter plus 4 meter, the total path length divided by the time. So it will be 7 by 5 meter per second, since the direction is not changed. So we have not done it section wise, so it basically denotes the speed. But if I want to find out the velocity in going from A to B, then we cannot follow this, because this is the actual path, but we cannot follow this. This is the distance, but the velocity is concerning about the displacement. So you have to connect the final point, initial point, by a straight line, that is AB. So the velocity is AB, velocity for AB is AB vector divided by T, and if I connect AB, it will be gives the hypotenuse of this, so it will be root over of 3 square plus 4 square meter, and the time in reaching from A to B via C obviously, but the displacement does not concentrate about the actual path. The time is 5 seconds, so it will be 5 meter per 5 second, 5 meter divided by 5 second along AB, that is 1 meter per second along AB. So you just see here the magnitude of the velocity and the speed is different. It is different because here that the particle takes a bending in along this path. Let us consider it is a coordinate system, and in this coordinate system x and y axis, if I consider that the particle is somewhere here, if the particle is somewhere here at the position P, and the time at the position P, and at time say t equal to 0 second, let us make it generalized, let us take t equal to t1 second. The position of the particle is noted by the coordinates x1, y1. So the r1 vector denotes the position vector. So if I write down the position vector, then the r1 vector will be x1 I cap plus y1 j cap. Now if the particle translates to the position 2, that is the q position, whose coordinate is x2, y2, and the time is t equal to 2 second. The coordinate is x2, y2, and the position vector of this point q with respect to that of the origin is the r2 vector. So r2 vector is x2 I cap plus y2 j cap. So if I want to find out what is the displacement is basically denoted by the del r vector, and which is r2 vector minus r1 vector, and it becomes x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap, and it can be written as del x I cap plus del y j cap. So if in taking the particle from the point P to point Q, the time is t2 minus of t1 second. So the displacement can be defined as the velocity can be defined as the displacement divided by, displacement is here denoted by the change in position vector, divided by the time, and that will be del x I cap plus del y j cap divided by del t. So this expression after that becomes del x divided by del t I cap del y divided by del t j cap, that is the change in the coordinates of along the x-axis with the time change in time del t, change in the coordinate along the y-axis with the change in time del t is basically, if I do the vector addition of these two, then we get the velocity vector. Basically this thing represents the velocity of the particle in moving from here to here. This thing represents the velocity moving a particle from here to here. This is a time interval. We can say this is a time interval, that is del from t1 to t2. It is a large interval. But if I want to take the data, that is the position of the particle, how the velocity changes, how the position changes with respect to each instant, then we have to make this del t is infinitesimally zero. We have to take this del t very small so that we can take the data at any instant. So if I do this, then these expressions can be written as that is v vector equal to limit of del t tends to 0, limit of del t tends to 0 of v, that is, it is, now we can say this is the ins, we can say that is the velocity of the particle at an instant, so it is the instantaneous velocity. So we can write it del x divided by del t I cap plus del y divided by del t j cap. So if I take this limit within the bracket, then it will be del x divided by del t I cap limit del t tends to 0 del y divided by del t j cap. So this basically defines definition of the calculus, differential calculus. So this thing can be written as ddt, this del t can be written as ddt, so it becomes dx dt I cap plus dy dt j cap. So addition and differential operator can be commute itself, can be interchanged. So if I write down this thing x I cap plus y j cap, then this x I have written here at first differentiation, then addition, here at first addition, then differentiation, it can be interchanged. So if it is interchanged, then it can be easily written as r vector. So the instantaneous velocity becomes dr dt. So v instantaneous is basically denotes dr vector dt, that is the velocity of the particle at each and every instant. Velocity of the particle at each and every instant, we can take the data, we can take the information about the change in position of the particle in a particular direction with time. The motion of a particle, that is the change in position of a particle with the direction at a particular interval of time, may be uniform or may be non-uniform. So what these words basically means, uniform and non-uniform. If the particle basically moves at the uniform rate means the particle covers equal distances in equal interval of time, then, or equal displacement in equal interval of time, then we can say the particle is in uniform motion. But if the particle does not cover it, it violates this principle, then we can say it is a non-uniform motion. Basically the velocity is defined as displacement divided by time, and the speed is defined as distance divided by time, and the displacement is basically refers the change in position divided by time, and the speed is basically denotes the path length divided by time. So a motion can be said uniform if this change with time is equal. If the change is time at a regular, then we can say the motion is uniform. If I want to discuss uniform velocity, then the particle changes its position with time in a particular direction at a uniform rate. Or we can say the particle covers equal displacement at equal intervals of time. What does it mean? We can use the numbers to understand this thing. Let us consider it is a motion is performed along the x-axis. If the motion is performed along the x-axis, let us take this is the point of reference O, and that is x equal to 0 meter, and this is x equal to 100 meter. We just try to track a particle which is moving along the x-axis at t equal to 2 seconds. The particle is here at distance 20 meter. At t equal to 5 seconds, the particle is here at a distance 50 meter from the point 2 obviously. At t equal to 7 seconds, the particle is at a distance 70 meter, and when x equal to 100 meter, it reaches at t equal to 10 seconds. So if I calculate the velocity after t equal to 2 seconds, after t equal to 5 seconds, after t equal to 7 seconds, and after t equal to 10 seconds, then what it will be? Just see, the velocity is here 20 meter divided by 2 seconds. So 20 meter divided by 2 seconds, so it gives 10 meter per second. From here to here, in reaching, the displacement is 50 meter along the x-axis, and the time is 5 seconds here, so it will be 10 meter per second. If from here to here, from the point of reference to 70 meter, the time taken by the particle is 7 seconds, so it is 70 meter divided by 7 seconds, that is 10 meter per second. Now if I say this thing, that is the in reaching the 100 meter, from the point of reference, it will be 100 meter divided by 10 seconds, it will be 10 meter per second. So just see, at each and every interval, after 2 seconds, after 5 seconds, after 7 seconds, and after 10 seconds, if I calculate the velocities here, the velocities are 10 meter per second and each and every interval. So as the particle is moving along the x-axis, its velocity is not changing. That means it covers equal distances at equal intervals of time at a particular direction. that is its change in position with time is at the uniform rate, that is the uniform velocity. But most of the cases the uniform velocity is an ideal concept. It cannot be realized in practice because the particle is moving in uniform motion, its direction is not never changed, and it not changing its velocity is just not possible. So basically the non-uniform, this thing is a practical possibility, that have the practical possibility, but we consider that uniform rate to for our mathematical calculations simpler for the theoretical discussions, so that becomes simple. But what is non-uniform? If this rule violates, that is it does not cover equal displacements at equal interval of time, or it can cover equal distances but it changes its direction, then it becomes the non-uniform velocity. Let us see. Now just consider another example, that is reaching from the reference point, that is x equal to 0 to x equal to 100 meter. Obviously it is the x-axis. X equal to 100 meter. Now I am tracking a particle which is not the previous one. So when x equal to 50 meter, the time taken by the particle, it is t equal to 0 second. The time taken by the particle to cover this is 4 seconds. After that, in going from another 50 meter, the time taken by the particle is 6 seconds. That is from here to here, the time is 6. The time taken by the particle is 2 seconds. So if I am calculating the velocity in each section, just see in this section 0 to 50 meter, it is along moving in a particular direction, so direction is not changed here. So 50 meter, now I am calculating the velocity, 50 meter divided by the 4 second, so it will be 12.5 meter per second. Now in this case, from 50 meter to 100 meter, this is the path length or the displacement here, because it is moving along the same direction. The time is 6 minus 4 second, that is basically it is 4 second minus 0 second, so 6 minus 4 second, that is 2 seconds, so that will be 25 meter per second. So you can see the direction is not changed, but the value, the magnitude of the velocity is changed. At the first interval from 0 to 4 second, its velocity is 12.5 second. In the next interval, velocity becomes 25 meter per second, so the velocity is changed now. It becomes twice that of the previous. So you can say now the velocity is non-uniform, because now the particle covers non-equal distances and in a particular direction in unequal intervals of time. So it is the example of non-uniform velocity. Now just think, it is an example, that is if a particle covers from here to here, you can consider this is the O in A is at a distance 50 meter from here. In reaching there, the time taken by the particle is 2 seconds, and then from A to B, the time taken by the particle is t equal to 4 seconds. That is, here it reaches 2 seconds, here is 0 second. The total time interval it is taken by is del t 2 seconds, and here it is and again 2 seconds. That is, if I write in the time, it is t equal to 0 second, it is at t equal to 2 second, and it is at t equal to 4 second. Time interval in each case is, I have taken it is uniform or equal, that is 2 second, and the distance from A to B and O to A is 50 meter. So the velocity in the section OA, VOA equal to 50 meter, that is the distance between O and A, the path length, divided by the time interval del t, that is 2 seconds. So it will be 25 meter per second. along O to A. Now if I calculate section for A to B, then it will be 50 meter again. Time interval is t equal to 2 second to 4 second. Time interval is again 2 second. So it will be 25 meter per second, but it is along AB. So if I just looking at the magnitudes of the velocity, then it will remain the same, 25 meter per second and 25 meter per second, but the directions of VOA is along this direction, VOA is along this direction, and VOB is along this direction. So the velocity VAB is along this direction. So the velocity between these two velocities, the angle between these two velocities is 90 degree. So the direction is changed here. So we can say due to change in direction, instead of the magnitude is the same, we can say the velocity is the non-uniform velocity. In this example, the velocity is non-uniform due to the fact that the magnitude of the velocity changes but the direction is not changing. In that particular case, if the velocity direction is not changing but the magnitude is changing, in that particular case we can consider another term, and that gains the importance in that section, that is the average velocity. The average velocity is defined as total displacement, I can say here, total displacement divided by total time. It does not concern about any sections, in which section it covers, how much time intervals, it does not matter. Total displacement is here 100 meter, and the total time is 0 second to 6 second along x-axis. So it will be 50 by 3 meter per second along x-axis. So obviously these three values, that is the average velocity 50 by 3 meter per second, is completely different from this 12.5 meter per second and 25 meter per second. So each tells the average value, the rate, the uniform rate. It is basically taking the uniform rate of displacement. If the particle maintains this 50 by 3 meter in 1 second, then it can reach from here to here. But actually the particle does this something else. From 0 to 4 seconds velocity is 12.5 meter per second. From 0 to 4 seconds it covers 12.5 meter in 1 second, and from 4 seconds to 6 seconds it covers 25 meter in 1 second. But actually the scenario is different, practical scenario is different, but average velocity tells us the value. If it covers with the velocity 50 by 3 meter per second, then after 6 seconds it can cover the 100 meter. Just like the displacements, if I consider the path length, the distance, at that time we can define another quantity, that is uniform speed. If I have to say the uniform speed, at that time we have to say that the equal distance is covered by the particle in equal interval of time. Now it is not a displacement, it is a distance. Now if the particle continuously changing in directions in the time of moving from one place to another place, it is allowed. Equal distance covered divided by equal interval of time, that is the uniform speed. Just like here I have considered in this example, the particle is in uniform speed, because in each section the speed, that is the distance is 50 meter, time interval is 2 seconds, it is 25 meter per second, and it is also 25 meter per second. So in this example, in the OA section and the OAB section, this its speed is 25 meter per second. It is not changing, but the direction is changing. That's why it becomes a non-uniform velocity, but the particle is moving with the uniform speed. So it does not matter about the directions. If the particle moves along a straight line, then also we can say if it covers equal distance covered in equal intervals of time, it does not matter about the direction. At that time also we can say that is the uniform speed. So from this example it is showed that if a particle moving with a non-uniform velocity, it may be moving with a uniform speed. And if this condition violates, that if the particle covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time, or equal distances in non-equal intervals of time, or non-equal distances in non-equal intervals of time, then we can say the quantity that is non-uniform speed. Basically the non-uniform speed is the practically possible thing, because when a particle or car or something or object is moving from one position to another position, from the initial position to final position, it continuously changing its direction, continuously changing its rate of change of distance. So at that time we have to consider the another term, very important term, that is average speed. And the average speed is defined as the total distance divided by total time. It does not consider about the each and every section. Maybe it is uniform, maybe it non-uniform, but it is just considered about it. It gives a particular rate or definite rate or value. It may not be same, but it gave a particular rate of value, that is the average speed. One thing here I want to say, that if a particle is moving with the uniform speed, then the average speed and the uniform speed is equal. Similarly, I want to say if a particle moving with an average uniform velocity, then the average velocity and uniform velocity is equal. And all of these things can be understood properly, easily in the time of doing the numericals. We are taking the different scenarios, and all of them then becomes easy like. And the instantaneous velocity that I am talking about, each and every point, if I taking the instantaneous velocity on the basis of instantaneous velocity or instantaneous speed, this all of this calculations going on, I am talking this thing. If the instantaneous speed is continuously changing, then I can talking that it will be non-uniform speed or non-uniform velocity. All the time the instantaneous thing is very important in this fact. So average will same to that of in case of uniform motion. For non-uniform speed and non-uniform motion, we are basically drawing the quantity average speed and average velocity. In case of uniform motion, we need not to consider this, because uniform motion, the average speed and average velocity is the same thing, but in case of non-uniform motion we have to take the new quantity average speed and average velocity.